And we are live.
Hey. What's up, big
Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 1048. Today is Monday, January 9th, 2022, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. Today's top stories: Logan Paul backflips on defamation lawsuit against Zilla and apologizes. U.S. DOJ announces seizure of 55 million Robinhood shares. Digital currency group under investigation by U.S. authorities is being reported. Wire imposes up to a 90% withdrawal limit for all users. And Silvergate gets more bad news as Moody slashes its ratings. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and talk about these prices as we bring up these prices of Bitcoin and all these other crypto and digital assets today. Let's see, Bitcoin's coming in hot today at $17,281, up 1.95% on the 24-hour clock, as you see here. Ethereum's at $1,300.26, $1,326, up 4.8%. BNB is at number 4, up 6.43% at $280. Number 6 is XRP at 35 cents, up 3.71%. Number 8, Cardano is pumping hard, up 11.8% at 32 cents. And rounding off the top 10 is Polygon at 86 cents, up 7.49%. So a lot of good news. Of course, Solana just actually went up 20%. You see here is at $16.56. Everybody's talking bunk on Solana. That's been a popular token right now. Trending, of course, is Shiba Inu because of that bunk token. Shiba Inu is up 5%. Bitcoin's up 1.81%, and Polygon Matic, of course, is up 7.28%. With some of those recently added coins being Canalan token, Read to N, never heard of that one, and Shibosu token. So some brand new ones. If you want to continue to dumpster dive and add to that 21,000 plus cryptocurrency count that's officially out there as well. All right. With all that being said, pardon me, I want to give some quick shout outs on the day. I see the chat is getting full right now. Love to see it. What's going on, Patrick Walter? Goodness, Captain G, Nerd Up, Chloe Dior, BK Born, Bidside Ray, Somo Vid, Daryl White, JB, Bitcoin Madam, Stranger, Satoshi Slim. Good morning. Welcome to the show, all. About to go ahead and get it started, bringing up this chat from the actual YouTube as well. What's going on, Landon? Woe Be Easy, Hassan. Good morning. Top story of the day. Wow. So we actually saw this last week and made mention of it. But we didn't actually cover this story. A couple of reasons. First of all, Zilla did a good job covering the story. And then if you notice on our channel here, let me see if I can actually bring this up. Hold on a moment. Boom. There he is, tab. If you notice on this channel, oftentimes, like we used to cover every time a new celebrity or influencer or something did like a new cryptocurrency, like we used to cover that, but it became like so frequent and it became so obvious of a cash grab. It was like, there's no need to cover it. I remember us covering like the DJ Khaled's back in the day and the Mayweather promotions and TIs and Jamie Foxx and all these people who were doing all these different crypto collaborations with Kim Kardashians and all those type of things. And each after another continued to fail. Even got to the point where we start seeing things like Terra Luna and of course now FTX, where it's like these are like obvious L's, these are obvious fails. But Logan Paul, same thing. I guess he did like a NFT game or something he was supposed to pump like a year or two ago. Zilla did a 3-part series on essentially how he was scamming his followers allegedly, or how he misled them into this project and they lost millions of dollars. But for us, it kind of goes back to the beginning. It was like, no offense to him and his crew, whatever, but it's like Logan Paul. They aren't crypto experts. So if they launch a crypto expert project and you're dumping millions into it, this is one of those things where it's hard to even blame these people because it's such a layup for them. But their followings are literally just blindly throwing their money toward them. So this is some things that Zilla outlined in his 3-part series. And then Logan Paul came back out with like a 7-minute video last week, essentially saying that Zilla didn't do his job as a journalist. He wasn't being forthright. He didn't know what he was talking about, and that Logan Paul would be pressing charges or filing a lawsuit, whatever, all the legal threats. And literally, like within a week, he's already come back out and apologized and like withdrew the video and all this other stuff. So And again, we mentioned this last week, just all the fact that they were going back and forth. Where who knew where the truth was lying, but like now that he's actually went back on this video and apologized, it's like, oh, so you are scamming people. Like it's like, my bad, KRBE Zilla, about that 3-part series you did. You actually were correct about everything you said or some of the work that you did. And my rebuttal to you is because I was angry, and which his rebuttal never actually attacked the project and where it was at. I think his last statement on the project was that we never said when it would be fully finished. So it was like to be announced. And that to me was like kind of scammy in and of itself. Like, don't start playing that game. Like, don't play the game where it's like, well, we never told you the exact date. So technically this project isn't ready until the year 2032. It's like, oh, really? Like, we playing that game? Like, that's how you get your legs broke in some communities. All right. Don't get to playing that game where it's like, well, we never actually put an end date on it. All right, it doesn't work out like that sometimes, and it doesn't look like it's working out for this. I saw a commenter actually put, which I fully agree with, because when it comes to, again, some of these people who become really popular, I still have no idea why. I've seen some like the old videos. A lot of the comedy is missed on me or whatever, some of the things they do for comedic effects. But again, it's one of those interesting things where you have this whole community of people who are pouring their money as their influencer or the community leader pivots into different directions. So that's already interesting to see. But how he actually answered this and didn't directly say when the project will be done or kind of made that kind of scammy thing on the end of it, I don't know. But again, this is his Logan Paul backflips of defamation lawsuit against Zilla and apologizes. It was even crazier that it's made it to Cointelegraph. So it started off as a YouTube beef, has now Cointelegraph made to real news, but Logan Paul has deleted his response video aimed at Zilla and apologized in surprising YouTube. It looks like here, as you can see, YouTuber Logan Paul has deleted a video in which he threatened to sue internet detective Stephen Zilla Phoeniston, I don't know how to pronounce his name, over a 3-part series at Paul's CryptoZoo project as a scale. According to Zilla, in a January 6 tweet, Paul has promised to drop his threats of filing a defamation lawsuit over the videos. He said, Logan called me. He said he's deleting the 2 responses and he's dropping the lawsuit threats. I believe he's making a 3rd response, which I'll be delaying my video to include. Hopefully this time he takes accountability and refunds the victims of CryptoZoo. That's what matters. So, and of course, this was a response to his CryptoZoo project that I think it launched, but it just wasn't what people expected, like most industry projects. People lost a lot of money to it. Pardon me. You can see here the screenshot where this actual CryptoZoo Discord server from Paul, where it says it was rash and misaligned with the trust issue at hand. So I called him today and apologized as far as his video. Reaching out to Zilla. I will say shout out to Logan Paul. Oh, that's what I was going to say actually in the beginning. I kind of lost my thought. But shout out to him. I saw a comment on one of these earlier videos that basically says Logan Paul realizing his audience aren't children anymore and they're growing up and questioning some of his antics and things that he does. And this one involving money was one of the biggest ones they questioned. That I can kind of agree with. That's what I was going to say about the comedic effect that really never failed me. Different generations and everything, sure. And even different cultures as far as what's considered funny. But I mean, like, he got popular, and many other people on YouTube still got popular from Vines at first, which are like the 9-second shorts or something like that. I don't know what they were, but it was like the short videos, and you just gotta be goofy. You got 15 seconds to be goofy and catch an audience. That's where initially a lot of these people came from, and then they came over to YouTube making longer, goofier videos. But I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it was from being goofy. It was being clownish. Like a lot of these, and not just in the YouTube space, a lot of influencers everywhere are huge because they're clowns. Like, it's entertainment. It's clownish. It's the jester back in the day, doing goofy stuff for the high court. And that's what they did. And I'm saying this for a reason. I'm not saying this to be condescending or whatever. Like, great way to get money, right? I wish I would have thought of that. But it's 15 seconds to do something goofy, slip on a banana peel, whatever. And you make millions of dollars, whatever. Like, some people love it. Good stuff. But my point is, these people, including Logan Paul, as grand and big as they are on YouTube, as much money as they make, this is where I talk about Shaq not being like the business acumen person you just speak to. Like, he's not going to talk to you about CRM data or Excel sheets and stuff like that. Like, to me, this is the same thing. It's like, great on them for building these massive audiences, for being entertaining. But all they're doing is slipping on banana peels. Okay, like, let's be fair. And I say that to say, if a person who has amassed millions of followers from slipping on a banana peel suddenly says, hey, I have a way for you to make money. Now they're getting into finances and people fund them. That's their fault. That's not, I don't even blame the influencer anymore. They're just, listen, if somebody comes up to the person who's been slipping on banana peels, making people laugh and getting huge audiences and says, I got another business play, instead of slipping on a banana peel today, just start talking about this new financial project and you'll make 10 times what you already did in less amount of time or whatever. And they're like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm used to slipping on banana peels. You just want me to read a paragraph this time? Like, I don't see no harm in this. Like, you can't even blame it on them. I am literally blaming it on these massive audiences. It's 23 million people, and none of y'all got a Discord server together, on a Telegram, a chat group, a FaceTime call. Nobody got together at no time and was like, this looks like it won't work. No one did that. So to me, again, it's messed up to see. I'm glad to see Logan Paul seemingly taking some, I guess, some accountability, even though he's only taking accountability because of that pushback, I think, of his response video. Because I saw the response video, like I said, it was super weak. He attacked Zilla and did not attack himself being the lead of a 20 plus million digital army, essentially, where they're going to do what he says. And instead, he went after Zilla, saying that you're doing this for views because I'm the biggest YouTube star out there. And again, I would say if it was just for views, like, there's plenty of people you could do just for views. It was the fact that you attached yourself to a crypto project. You told people they were going to make money. So it's crazy that this made the news, the real crypto news side of the house. So we are covering it. Again, this will probably turn out to be one of those big losses in the space, where it was like, you remember OneCoin, BitConnect, FTX, Terra Luna, Crypto Zoo. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but right now it looks like it is what's happening. And again, you know what? As much as like Logan Paul is probably to blame, do your own research, people. He didn't put a gun up to your head as far as his audience and say, you need to invest in my Crypto Zoo NFTs. You all saw Logan Paul and said, I can make just as much money as him overnight by doing this Crypto Zoo NFT or something crazy along that line, where in reality, he's getting his money from slipping on a banana peel, not giving you NFT advice. I mean, that's just my 2 Satoshis on that one. What are your thoughts in the comments here? Let me take a peek. For sure, entertainment said investing in clowns. Now the joke's on you. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really get mad at Logan Paul where he doesn't have like an investment portfolio for investing in something he said. Like, you can call him out. You can point him out for like, you can really call him out and point out if it was legit scam from the beginning. It was legitimate from the beginning. Like, this was never going to take off or be launched or blah, blah. But if he really was like, no, like, I think we could. And again, you got to remember, to Logan Paul and people like him credit, where I can't really blame them. When you're new into crypto and Bitcoin and that bug bites you, you're super excited. We've all faced that, been through that period of excitement, being super ecstatic. And every new thing that you kind of set your eyes on, you think you can do it better and grander. And then this is what is missing, which is why we have 21,000 plus projects now. Yet not one of them is more technically superior to Bitcoin than the Bitcoin project. Like, literally. Now, one of them is technically superior to it. Majority of them don't have better developers on it. Like, there's so much wrong with so many of these 21,000 projects, yet we have them, right? So it's kind of the same thing when it comes to these projects when they get launched. The people who are launching them is like, who are you or I or anybody to say your project's a scam or it won't work? And it's like, well, hey, this project took 2 or 3 or 4 years to work. How come I can't get mine 2 to 3 to 4 years, right? So it's all about the initial inception of the project. If it was built to be a legitimate scam, a legitimate fraudulent project, that's one thing. It's a different thing if it was legitimately attempting to do something powerful and grand and change the landscape. It just had a bunch of noobs in the driver's seat who had a bunch of resources behind them. So they were able to make it seem like it'd be one thing. And that's not just Logan Paul. There's Sam Bankman-Fried. That is, again, Terra Luna. And that's a host of influencers in this space, in the crypto space, YouTubers, Twitter people, all these people, the circa 2019, 2020s. Now they're becoming seasoned officially. But they're becoming seasoned because they called out the Terras and the FTXs. But literally about 12 months ago, these are like the new kids on the block giving out the expert advice, right? So it's not just him that's doing it. He's just one of those people who had one of the biggest audiences who lost a lot of money doing it. So that's unfortunate to see. I think it is fair that CoffeeZilla points this stuff out, mainly because of how people reinvent and rebrand themselves. Again, when I'm looking at ucrypto.com and some of these other companies that have rebranded themselves, I can easily see Logan Paul another year or 2 years. Once we get the Web3 thing going or metaverse or whatever the next big thing is, oh, he'll be launching his. Guys, I know I messed up on the Crypto Zoo thing, but listen, here's the next big thing. Like they never stop, people. And then that's when it does become, all right, is this person just, taking their swing at bet every time? Like, are they doing this with good intentions, or are they literally creating scam after scam after scam after scam with intention to defraud their audience? So that's where the slippery slope is at. It's hard to tell, but I can tell you one thing. If the person made money off slipping off a banana, you shouldn't be listening to them give you financial advice anyway. Or if the person made their money again off playing a sport, unless they have a portfolio where they can sit you down. This is how I spotted this company and what they're doing, the trajectory here, and this is how I blah blah blah. Like the overwhelming majority can't do that. Nor can they tell you like the ins and outs of building these businesses and portfolios, or the ins and outs of NFT and things you need to be successful. So I don't know. I think we need to start looking at the sources of these information, of these pieces of information, and do some more self-regulation on that end. Let's see. Goodness said, can't wait for the Ronaldo L from from his Binance NFT. These people don't learn. So yeah, Ronaldo, they got him. Of course, with FTX, they literally had every major sports star out there. Steph Curry. I'm not sure they had LeBron, but of course, Tom Brady, Larry David made an appearance, entertainer, of course. So a lot of big names are going to be attached to all these things. And it's one of those things, and you talk about first to call something, people, we called this out at this point a year or two ago when we were talking about the whole advertising on the channel. It was like, yo, commercials for crypto are coming. You won't stop it. I'm in Hollywood. I'm seeing the castings, not only commercials, but TV shows, sitcoms, like literally everything you can think of for crypto. It is coming to Hollywood and entertainment near you. Nothing's going to stop that money, and it's going to be paid for by Dawn detergent. Okay, it's going to be paid for by Tide Pods or whatever. Like every normalized commercial thing you can think of will be sponsoring and paying for these things. So it's going to happen, people. Now it's about educating people. And I don't know, like it won't be many people to blame once it proliferates. That's all I'm saying. All right, going over toward the government side of the house now. Crazy things are happening. We mentioned this a few times, or one time on the show, as someone asked us about it in the comments. But the United States Department of Justice announced a seizure of 55 million Robinhood shares. We did see the story pop up where this whole FTX and debacle was going, like, where they had some Robinhood shares that they bought. Were they going to be able to keep it off the table, or the government actually put it on the table as far as seizing it? It looks like it has been decided. Come on now. You know better. You're not going to have a bunch of money lying around where you owe money, including the United States government, and they're not going to seize it. The Justice Department said it had seized 55,273,469 shares of Robinhood and more than $20 million in currency as part of the criminal case against Sam Bankman-Fried. It looks like it officially notified the court handling the bankruptcy of BlockFi that had seized assets in accordance with the criminal cases against the crypto exchange FTX and the executives. In a January 6th court filing, the Justice Department said it seized that 55 million plus shares of Robinhood, to which former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, BlockFi, and FTX creditor Jonathan Ben Shimon had made claims worth more than $450 million at the time of publication. The Department of Justice noted it has also taken control of more than $20 million in U.S. currency from the brokerage firm ED&F, Man Capital Markets. But of course, the big news here is that $450 million worth of Robinhood shares. So a lot of people had kind of been speculating what would happen with those shares. It looks like we officially know. An important part about this case isn't just what's happening with these shares right now with FTX, But FTX won't be the last FTX, especially in terms of crypto fraud and tracking down those assets and returning them. So I think we'll see this in the future again. I think companies can already assume from this case moving forward that if you're doing anything fraudulent with your crypto company and you buy shares on the stock market of different companies traded on the public stock market in America, you better believe those shares will be seized by the United States Justice Department. So that's official here. It looks like it's still being argued by the former FTX CEO. He had a claim to these assets to pay for his criminal defense. He's saying, I want to keep these assets in my control until this case is fully resolved, essentially saying that no, this money, these assets like the Robinhood shares don't belong to the government because I haven't been proven guilty yet. He's saying I'm still innocent until proven guilty. So I should be able to use this money to my legal team. But the thing is, we've already seen how they've been using money as far as buying real estate, sprinkling it in different donation piles. They've basically been putting it to good use. So it's not just sitting there and no one can't seize it, which is why the United States has now been reduced to actually seizing the shares of other companies that they bought, essentially putting Robinhood in the middle of this thing, right? Because Robinhood is like, hey, we over here just trying to, as crappy as they are, but they're like, we're over here trying to do a whole different thing right now. And we're being roped into this all because they bought some of our company. Like, this is a bad look on Robinhood, especially when you're talking about these shares. What's going to happen with the U.S. government seizing these shares? Will they hold them? Will they sell them immediately? What's the process behind that? I'm sure there are rules and regulations. I'm not in the traditional market, so I couldn't tell you. But these are the things, if you had a traditional portfolio, you would have to think about. Robinhood was included in that. So again, this is something we can see moving forward in the future when it comes to other companies in the crypto space, possibly having shares or assets in other companies as well. So right now, it looks like the United States has won this one. They're going to get it. Again, SBF is saying, I want to use this for court. And then if I'm proven guilty, you can get the money back. But again, who knows if that money will actually stay put if it's left in his executive's hands as well. So it says the charges in the indictment arise from the alleged wide-ranging scheme by the defendant to misappropriate billions of dollars of customer funds deposited onto FTX. Of course, a story that we have been following for far too long now. It's kind of crazy how long this story has been going on. So let's see. What else do we have? I just checked out the chat. AI coins are bullish. Satoshi Slim said Crypto Zoo is dead now, but I'm no financial advisor. So what do I know? JG Wetworth, what's going on? Welcome back. Jerron Pirto, what's going on? Jake Fever said that's why Dame Dash said he put up his own money. When you use other people's money, you don't do your best on business. Okay. They said they would have been better off buying a Ronald McDonald NFT. That's hilarious, but true, actually. Listen, Ronald McDonald's been around for a while, man. That NFT might do something. They were using stock photos, said, "Woe be easy when it comes to the Crypto Zoo project." Oh, I hope that's not true. Stock photos, that's terrible. Stock photos on the crypto NFT project, that makes me want to cry. But listen, this is the part where it's like, I don't know. It's almost like that self-satisfaction where it sucks that it's happened. I'm mad people lost money, but it's also just like, hey, stop listening to the others and come on home to the brothers. That's one of the new catch lines now. Like, I really don't get it. Like, literally, just some of the people like, oh, I guess I'll listen to this person today. Like, it's kind of crazy. I wonder if they were listening to these same people, like teach them to jump out of a plane or something like just astronomically crazy, because this is what it equates to me as well. It's like you are literally listening to a person who has no experience in something give you advice on it. You're actually following it to a T. This is amazing to me. I love it. 2023, y'all. We got all this technology and we're just getting that much smarter, right? Let's see. S1 Dub said Logan Paul is not that relevant in this space, is he? Maybe I just not been paying attention. No, he's not. That's my point. But everyone with an audience who decides to kind of grift over, their audience is literally just waiting for someone to kind of tell them about crypto and what's better to them than they're already leader in all other things, especially if it's like a cultural thing or whatever. So I think they're just believing that since crypto does have this cultural phenom behind it, that people of different industries, their followers are just looking at them like, I don't get it, but you're supposed to be the smart one. So you should be able to explain these different things of life to me. You're supposed to be able to tell me about crypto, about the court cases of sports stars and rappers and all these entertainers, and exactly to the T what's going on with the law. You're supposed to be able to tell me about the weather next week. You're supposed to tell me about fashion and style. Like, they're looking at these influencers like, you're supposed to tell me about every topic. When the reality is, like, how many of us are experts in multiple topics? Like, that's unrealistic, especially specifically crypto, when you're talking about a topic that has to do with technology and finance. But again, this is what I think the audiences are looking for. So sometimes it works, I guess, and then other times it looks like it doesn't. Judging for what we just walked into, I take it folks are crying because they were blind, decide to listen to another blind person. Oh well, says Virgo El Unico. That's what I believe as well. Goodness said, when are we calling out CZ? CZ has been called out for a while, but he's been smart as far as staying in Singapore and putting his money to work with regulators in different countries and things of that sort as well. So CZ's paying the right people to make the right plays right now for sure, but he has been called out many times in the past. MTX Crypto said, obviously not good intentions, just taking money from people in exchange for not rendering a service. Let's see. It's unfortunate, but we can't save everyone. People are grown. They need to learn what that means. If parents couldn't or wouldn't, life will do so at a later date. Let's see. JG Wetworth said, like King's Point, dude amassed a huge following over the last decade, making him more socially accountable. But what he did isn't worse than other influencers. He's still a clown. And that's all I'm saying. Like, and that's the thing. It's Reggie Middleton. Great point. Reggie Middleton. Who do you guys think people should listen to for investment guidance? I think that's where we're at right now, culturally, and then as well as from these different industries. Is like, who do people listen to? Because now we're at a point people definitely don't want to listen to like the quote unquote old guys in the room, right? Like the suit and ties, curmudgeon. Like what's the guy I always make fun of because I do the white shirt? I think like Kramer's like, how much more wrong can you be, right? You get so much stuff wrong, you lost the audience of the younger generations. But now, like, the younger generations are looking at who do they look at. And right now, if you can like make a cool YouTube video, make it cool enough, that seems to be what get people. But yeah, I mean, there is no one spot. You're right, Reggie. There's no one spot where everybody's going like, this is who everyone listens to for this type of investment guidance. So that's a good point. Let's see. Watched the Nets and Heat game last night. I'm surprised the FTX logo is still in the court there. Listen, FTX paid out for like until 2023, 2024. It's like 2025 and stuff when the money starts to dry up as well. So that's when it happens. Dave Ramsey said Jake Fever. Yeah, Dave Ramsey is a good one. I've heard of him before. He's pretty good. Let's see what else we have. Checking the chat out. Hilarious. They say if he dies, he dies. Talking about these investors out here. JG Wetworth said the best point is that his followers aren't 10 to 14-year-old boys anymore. Instead of them watching the news, they've been watching impulsive, meaning they haven't paid for their tuition. Lesson learned. And that's my point right there. And there's no offense to that podcast, but again, the majority of podcasts and stuff out there is like just is slip banana on a peel. It's slipping on bananas, right? Banana in the tailpipe jokes. And it's just like, all right. But yeah, if you consume that 24/7, which is cool, nothing wrong with it, it's also one of those things where like you can't expect that person to also be like a financial genius. Like, come on, that's asking a lot at the same time. Come on. All right. But that's going on with Robinhood and Jake Paul. Woo, we've been talking about it. It looks to be almost official. Digital currency group under investigation by U.S. authorities. We've been talking about DCG and Genesis. Of course, Gemini came out, the Winklevoss twin, and was like, hey, you owe us some money, bro. You owe us $900 million. We've been asking about it privately for some weeks. You haven't responded. You've been sending lawyers our way. So now we got public. That was last week, the week before, of course, and the week before that, we have already been speculating on it. And it looks like now the United States is actually investigating the digital currency group. U.S. authorities are reportedly investigating internal transfers from digital currency group to a subsidiary, Genesis. That is right. Crypto conglomerate Digital Currency Group, or DCG, is under investigation by the United States Department of Justice's Eastern District of New York. Hold on. If it's New York involved.
From here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in.
Hey, New York is not Southern. Hey, Eastern District said, oh, we ain't gonna let the Southern District outdo us, are we? And the Securities and Exchange Commission, according to the Bloomberg report. I mean, come on, like people, just from listening to us, for people who are new, and just or if you're not new, just take into account the last 2 weeks of listening to us. You don't find it strange that literally the only like department that's been going after people has been from New York, Southern District of New York, Eastern District of New York, something to New York. That isn't strange to you at all. Wall Street's backyard has been attacking the greater United States and international cryptocurrency groups. And this is not strange to anyone. It isn't. You don't see North Dakota pop up. You don't see Delaware, DC, Texas every now and then, but that's when those lenders start to infringe upon Texas already lending programs it has going on. Their predatory lending programs they essentially allow. But have you really noticed there's no other states and cities that are pressing companies like New York? Is this not at all odd to you? I just want to point that out, like clearly point that out. This is not at all odd to you. I'm not even sharing the story. Hold on. Let me share the story. I have to share this. This is crazy. Look at this. United States Department of Justice's Eastern District of New York. It's New York, people. Listen, if there's nothing illegal going on there, then I mean, I'll bet my as the old saying used to go in the South, I'll bet my left nut. All right, I'm trying to tell you, I'll bet my left nut. And we look at New York and some of the practices the federal government, state governments, city governments are doing in regards to cryptocurrency, they are super illegal. But I digress. The authorities are digging into internal transfers between DCG and its subsidiary crypto lending firm Genesis Global Capital, according to the report, which cited people familiar with the matter. Something else I want to point out. While, hey, whatever this is regulation, this is what it looks like. You know, I'm all for self-regulation. But here's what's even bigger thing to point out. Do we have ourselves? Hold on. Do we have ourselves a snitch? People, DCG hasn't done anything yet on a large enough scale to warrant an investigation. All right. Let's be clear about that. FTX, after all of this, they just went down. They are just getting an investigation in task force, right? They're just getting that. Terra really didn't even get one at all either. But you're telling me DCG, while there's just writings on the wall and mumblings, they're getting an investigation? Oh, listen. Come on. Listen. Wow, look, people, I'm about to put you on game. Someone called the federal government on DCG, someone with power. Now, we have some people we can guess. I'm not throwing this on nobody. I'm not going to do that. But there's some people who already came out and said, DCG, I'm exhausting our resources. You owe me money. I don't know what to do next. We're seeing this come from different directions. And we do know, I think they're in a hole about $1.6 billion to debt, to what they owe people. Of course, about $900 million or $600 to $900 million that going to Gemini. But all I'm saying is, look, this is what I do, people. All right, this is what I do on a day-to-day. And then this is what I know from past lives and experiences. There ain't no way in hell that DCG, who's nobody been paying attention to, who, yes, while they're involved on the fringes of this, they haven't clearly been under attack, especially by the retail market. Then all of a sudden they under investigation. If I was, is it Barry over there at DCG? Who over there at BCG? Barry Shilbert or one of them? I don't know. But if DCG was my company and this was if I got under investigation right now, oh, bet. It's up. Everybody. No more friends. No more friends in this industry. Whoever we doing business with outside of that. No, people, they didn't get under investigation out the blue. All right. Somebody, hey, listen, somebody said I'm about to drop diamond. No. Somebody said I don't like that. I don't like that shit right there. I'm about to drop diamond. I'm trying to tell you what happened. That is right. Digital Currency Group. The authorities are digging into those internal transfers between DCG and its subsidiary crypto lending firm, Genesis Global Capital, according to a report which cited people familiar with the matter. And what you mean people familiar with the matter? It's just happening. Listen, way too many people talking right now. I don't like this if I'm DCG. Prosecutors have already requested interviews and documents from both companies, while the SEC is running a similar early stage inquiry. Not only that, again, here's the deal, people. If it wasn't New York who is leading the charge, I might actually say, you know what? No, they were caught up in this and that, and this is fair play. But the fact that this is the way the game is played is New York leading the charge, which means somebody more than likely in New York gave them that call, dropped that dime. And I'm just saying a couple of companies that's involved with this that has already waved a New York flag saying, hey, we're regulated X, Y, and Z, and we love being regulated by the. So I don't know. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying this is looking very interesting to see from the sidelines. But again, as of yet, no indictment has been brought against DCG, nor has either U.S. agency provided any information about the case. A spokesperson for DCG said the company was unaware of an investigation, saying DCG has a strong culture of integrity and has always conducted its business lawfully. We have no knowledge of or reason to believe that there is any Eastern District of New York investigation into DCG. I tell you what, I just got done watching that shit series Kaleidoscope, and toward the end of the series, when a big event was happening, essentially this guy has a cybersecurity firm and he was being accused, his firm was being accused of being hacked by the FBI. Basically, publicly, his firm was like, well, no, we're not under attack. Our safes and everything's fine. I'm not saying whether it was fine or not, but he was basically like, no, everything's cool, while simultaneously everything not being cool per se. So I will say that companies will, FTX, we just saw this, Sam Beckman-Fried, a day, like 24 to 48 hours before it came out, they were bankrupt and money was being moved and everything. He literally came out and said FTX and all the assets are fine, no customer worry or something like that. So for them to come out and say this, I'm not believing that. I'm not saying it's true or false. I'm saying it's something that needs to be verified. And again, Genesis is one of the companies affected by the contagious wave following the collapse of FTX in November. According to the firm's disclosure on November 10th, it has $175 million locked up in the FTX trading account. And Genesis halted withdrawals on November 16th due to liquidity issues and has engaged with investment bank Moelis and Company to assist restructuring. Genesis owes $900 million to the crypto exchange Gemini. They operate together a product called Gemini Earn, which allows crypto investors to earn 8% interest on their crypto loans. Gemini claims that DCG failed to repay Genesis, leading to the failure of payments to Gemini's clients. Again, I'm not saying they did it because just like FTX and Binance, where Binance saw FTX was weak and it wasn't worth the saving, they were like, hey, y'all, they broke, kill them, right? And so all I'm saying is it might not be someone that we could even like clearly see and assume that like, oh, they're probably the people, like somebody definitely called the authorities. Let's be clear about that. Like somebody definitely called the authorities. As to who, it could very well be one of their creditors, one of the people that DCG and Genesis owes, or it could be a competitor. It could just as easily be like, DCG might be going through problems. Damn, you heard about Winklevoss, the boy, they say he owe him $900 million. Now's the time to push the button. We're ever going to do it. So it could either be a competitor or it could be one of the people that they owe. But it's definitely someone. DCG is definitely fully under attack here. They better have the money now because, and here's the other thing, maybe they aren't under investigation, but I can tell you what, it's the same as getting that blue check mark. This article on Cointelegraph is enough to get another article somewhere else and then in the actual televised press coverage to get that investigation rolling if it's not there already. So whoever is responsible for this ball rolling downhill, this snowball going, this is intentional, it's strategic, and we'll wait to see what happens. But again, looking at some of these people, Genesis owes that $900 million to Gemini from the Earn project. Other subsidiaries are Grayscale, of course, who has a lot of competitors. CoinDesk, of course, with their main competitor be where I'm reading this article at on Cointelegraph, which is kind of funny. Crypto exchange Luno and Bitcoin mining company Foundry. But seriously, when I looked at CoinDesk today, I did not see this article. Did not see this article there. So again, it doesn't have to be someone they owe money to. It could be a competitor like Cointelegraph. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Just sit down and investigation, run the article. Like they're like literally our largest competitors owned by them. If they go down, Cointelegraph becomes the number one resource out there on the line or for crypto news. So it could be them. Again, it could be Gemini saying, hey, we tried to play fair. Let me call up my best friend from school who now runs the Eastern District, maybe not the Southern, but he got some pull over in the Eastern, right? It could be a lot of people. I know whoever is running DCG right now is getting stressed because now you don't know where the attacks are coming from, and they're only going to proliferate. They're only going to proliferate. They won't decrease. Expect to hear more about DCG. And now we're about to enter these championship rounds for DCG because what happens next is they're either going to win this thing and it's like, woo, that was scary, but they made it out. Things like the price of Bitcoin rebounding and going into a small bull run could help DCG sustain and last. But if that price of Bitcoin drops further or we continue going sideways, DCG might be in trouble. They might not make it through these rounds this go round. An investigation owing a powerful crypto company almost $1 billion, owing the retail market after this whole FTX debacle, failing crypto prices, plus like goodness. I mean, that's just too much happening at one time. So we'll see, but we got another one. Got another one, boss. Let's see, what else do we have? I do gotta bring up that movie reference so for the people who haven't seen it yet. Hold on, I'm bringing it up on YouTube as I get the next story going, which of course is Wire imposing up to a 90% withdrawal limit for all its users. This is crazy. All right, Belly. What was my man's name? What was my man eating a banana? There we go. Eating banana. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. Might have to drop down. There we go. Rico. Let me get Rico on here for y'all real quick. Here we go. All right, so you all can get this new movie reference for those who never saw it. This is a Belly reference from Rico. Basically, some people were selling drugs in his town. He was a drug dealer. He didn't like the drugs being sold.
Meanwhile, little did we know, this local big head nigga named Rico started feeling his pockets was getting a little thinner since we got there.
Hey, they thought them fools go right there.
Trouble was right there on that corner, staring right at us.
Yeah, they rolling hard too. They slanging real good, real good.
Might have to drop a dime on them niggas.
Sure.
So drop a dime, call the police. He ain't like that. He's another drug dealer. He didn't want to fight his opponents. He didn't want to outsell them. He was going to call the police, get them up out of there. And I think that's what's happening with DCG. It's literally the times optimal for the competitors or the people they owe to say, you know what? Let's not fight DCG. Let's not try to take them to court and go with their lawyers and this, that, and the other. Let's call the police. Let's just call the police. So I think that's what happened. That's what looks like it happened. Somebody just woke up and was like, you know what? I'm just going to call the police. They'll figure this out. All right. Listen, and here's the thing. They owe people $1.6 billion. You can't be mad. It is what it is. It's just one of those things where we're going to continue to watch DCB, but I think somebody dropped down. All right, this story, the headlines and the title, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Wire imposes up to a 90%, I can't even say it. Wire imposes up to a 90% withdrawal limit for all users. And that's right. They said they're citing this as the best interest of their community. Wire has imposed a daily withdrawal limit on this platform, again, saying this is the best interest of their community. Now, they modified their withdrawal policy to limit users from cashing out up to 90% of their assets just days after two former employees allegedly hinted at the possibility of a shutdown. I wanted to bring this up. And here's a tweet. Hey, Wire community. We wanted to provide you with an update requiring the current state of Wire. We're modifying our withdrawal policy while customers will continue to be able to withdraw their funds. At this time, we're limiting withdrawals to no more than 90% of the funds currently in each customer account, subject to current daily limits. Now, again, I'm just bringing this up because the story's in the headline. This is why you cannot use centralized platforms. If we ever promote centralized platforms, which I don't think we really have on this channel, but you all even know, we promote centralized platforms. We're promoting them as a conduit, as a vehicle, as a medium, not as a place to park anything. It's a place, it's a highway, it's a freeway. You get on, you get off. You don't park your car there and walk off and leave it. So that's the first thing I want to say. So if it's any centralized platform, whether it's us or anyone ever talking about them for the education purposes, you should never be parking anything there. Is to be used as a medium to bring things on and off ramps, on ramps. And I want to point that out because we've been through this, people. We've been through this when the numbers were higher and the markets crash and things are happening. And literally overnight or a few hours later, websites are saying, well, no, you can't take out. Again, we use this famous example. We're going from 2 Bitcoin to 0.2 Bitcoin when Bitcoin is like I got 20,000 a Bitcoin. That's literally going from $40,000 a day in 24-hour period to going down to $2,000 to $4,000 of withdrawal limits in a 24-hour period while the market's being volatile. These platforms can and will do it overnight. Why? Because there's no regulations against it right now, nor am I asking for them. It's just something to be aware of when you're using these platforms. Now, I think the good thing nowadays is with self-regulation, big enough platforms can get a big enough customer pushback to where they will kind of do what's in the best interest of the customer in hopes of keeping their company alive. But there are also some companies that will do things like this, overnight it. If you wake up in the morning, 9:18 a.m., decide to sleep in until 9:30 or whatever, right? You wake up, wait, what do you mean I can't take my money off the platform? Yeah, you can't take your money off the platform. It happens that quick. So this was just something to remind you, a reminder that, all centralized platforms have the ability to do this. You don't control the funds. It is not your cryptocurrency. No keys, no cheese. All right. Let me look at some few comments where we cover this last story as well. Get off the freeway. Yep. Don't sleep your ass out on the highway. Right. Let's see. Ruel, you're hilarious talking about Rico. Yep. Stranger said, when you hear in the best interest of our community, it's time to get out. Listen, the best interest of these communities is for people to make money. So whenever they're not talking about making money, that's when you need to worry about that. Woe Be Easy says, so they're at least 10% in the hole. Yes, at least 10%, because also it said it will only withdraw due to their daily limits, though. So there's exchange limits, because you remember these exchanges are working with banks. So they have exchange limits. Then they have actual customer limits. So we don't even know what those limits are either. It could be as simple as like the first 10 people can get out, or it could be like, all right, 80% of our customers can get out. We don't know the actual percentage. So and again, that wordiness will slip people up. But yeah, you never know. Let's see. I thought Wire was an on-ramp. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I haven't used it in a while, or I haven't actually used it. I know Zay's used it a while ago, but I believe it was an on-ramp as well. But again, some of these on-ramps people will use as an actual custodian itself. Let's see. What else we have? Reggie Middleton told me it was infringing on the patent. There you go. And yes, Silvergate. We are about to talk about Silvergate. Unfortunately, I definitely don't want to talk about Silvergate. Jake Fever said Winklevoss said to them like Big Worm told Smoke, that's $100 if you don't get my money by 9 p.m. Talking about DCG and Gemini. Yes, it's crazy. What else we have? It's funny how y'all correlate the crypto space to movies. Dope concept is man funny. Listen, it just makes it too easy, okay? It makes it too easy. Let's see. But yeah, DCG is under attack. I think we all have our 2 or 3 people I think we know is involved in it. But yeah, it's pretty funny. JG Wetworth said Eastern and Southern districts in New York are literally 2 big junkyard dogs fighting over the last bone. That's a good point right there. All right, last but not least, our favorite bank. Oh, man, they're in the news as well. But the good news is I think they'll actually make it through. Silvergate gets more bad news as Moody's slashes his ratings. First and foremost, who cares what Moody's think? Moody's has tried to slash crypto ratings before. This is what we kind of said was going to happen, not just with Moody's or like rating companies, all companies, starting with banks and stuff. And that's changing the narrative to kind of put themselves in the position of power and of empowerment in this space. That's what Moody's is essentially doing. No one asked them, but out the blue, this fucking ratings company, this traditional legacy rating company that failed to do the proper ratings for the traditional side of the house. Because if you remember, they weren't Moody's around when the 2008 financial crash happened. So clearly their ratings don't mean shit anyway. But out the blue, they just started doing crypto ratings for different companies. My guess is that this is how they're trying to change the narrative. They do enough companies, 2 or 3 years go by. Moody's has also been doing cryptocurrency ratings for the last 3 to 5 years. Look at some of these companies, and they'll just highlight the companies that they just gave a late rating to that did whatever their rating said. Like companies are out on their way out the door, they're going to be like, oh, this is a bad company to us. once they go out the door, they're like, yeah, see, we told you now. And it's like, bro, you told us like after like they went bankrupt and said they liquidated everyone's funds, then you came out 6 weeks later. So they're going to do that to try to change the narrative. And to me, this is them doing that now. So I'm not giving no props to Moody's, but the story of as far as what's going on over at Silvergate does need to be discussed in general. So it says here the beleaguered bank was allegedly moving money between FTX and Alameda. Then it sold debt at a discount and sacked employees after a bank run. And again, this story is being written like, so Derek is writing a story almost as if Silvergate is like the big bad wolf trying to scam and sneak their way through. And again, I have to say, from being on the sideline and observing how they've operated and talking to different companies in this space that's actually operated and worked with them, done business with them, I don't think they're trying to move in some slimy way. I think they had to do what had to be done to survive. And unfortunately, as we all know, war and survival can get ugly. And right now, it is getting very ugly as far as survival goes in this space. But it's being rented as like they're doing something slimy. I don't want to throw it out there like that. Things seem to be going from grim to grimmer at Silvergate Bank, with a hit to his Moody's rating and a sell-off by ARK Invest. The bank already experienced a bank run. A run has been tied to FTX collapse. Now, I think the sell-off by ARK Invest is the bigger story here, not the Moody's thing again. ARK Invest, the investment vehicle, Kathy Wood, of course, is super popular, sold off more than 400,000 shares of parent company Silvergate Capital, worth $4.3 million on January 6th, leaving it with a mere 4,000 shares, according to various media reports. Those shares lost 43% of their value the previous day. Goodness gracious. So again, survival. They probably didn't want to cut those losses at a 43% loss, but you know, your analysts are saying, hey, this thing can get down to 56 to 64 to 70, then you got to do what you got to do. Again, Moody's investors labeled it, downgraded their rating. But again, Moody's has been a terrible rating agency to me, so I'm not really covering them. Nor am I. I will cover what Moody's vice president actually said in a statement, because it does have to do with their rating. But again, this is more of the obvious. Almost all the bank's deposits continue to be from cryptocurrency-centric institutions. Yes, they've essentially marketed themselves as a crypto bank, so that makes sense. And while the bank currently has adequate liquidity and capital, and that's what I was looking at and why I think that this grim outlook is wrong. The bank currently has adequate liquidity and capital. They're paying their bills. They're just taking losses as an investment if you're investing in the bank. But to me, that's short-term thinking when you're looking at the long-term trajectory of crypto and them being a bank for so many crypto companies that had nowhere else to turn. You think they're going to let them fail? I don't. Now, they fail on their own right now. That's one thing. But if we get out this winter, these companies will not let Silvergate fail. I continue this quote. Continued large outflows of these deposits would further adversely impact the bank's financial condition, kind of like with DCG. If the price of Bitcoin continues to drop and this whole FTX debacle continues to spread and more companies are going under, then yes, Silvergate could fail, but I don't think it will be because Silvergate failed. It will just be like, listen, this FTX downpour is just too strong. You got swallowed up too. Like, you're not special. You're another company that got swallowed up. It wouldn't necessarily be their fault. So right now at the numbers, says Silvergate Bank lost $718 million as it liquidated debt to cover $8.1 billion in withdrawals, according to reports on January 5th. It also laid off 40% of its workforce, about 200 people. In addition, crypto-related deposits were down 68% in the fourth quarter. Of course, the fourth quarter 2022 FTX. And yes, like, again, this sucks. The 40% of his workforce sucks. Bear market, everybody's been laying off people. And when I'm looking at this $8.1 billion in withdrawals, so what you're saying is like, yeah, they lost almost, they say, you know what? Instead of playing this game where we're not paying people and stopping this and scaring people like DCG, we're going to take a big ass loss and get this debt off the books. So again, they're still in the game. This, and I get it from a traditional point of view, this is super scary. You might say, it's time to cut losses and X, Y, and Z. But no, from a crypto point of view, you're still the project's not dead. You're still in the game. Like you just want to be in the game. And when it comes to crypto, the scary thing is when you're fully out the game, when there's no more capital, there's no more cryptos, no more nothing, there's no more education going, where you're just dead at water. Like, but if you're telling me they paid off debt, they skinnied down, they fired and laid off people because they had to. Yeah, deposits are down, but they're hunkering down, then they're fine. What I'm reading this is as an investment. If you're trying to invest in Silvergate Bank as an ancillary investment to crypto instead of actually investing in cryptocurrency itself, then I could get this as being time to worry and maybe slashing out your portfolio. If anything, I would say is a good time to buy more because if you're looking at Silvergate Bank, even if they're just flowing even right now, they're not making any money, as it says here, essentially, they're in good shape because as long as they last until the next happening, when a ton more new companies will come into the play and need new banking relationships and get $200 million overnight from out the blue and from different countries, they will need these banking relationships, and Silvergate will still more than likely be there. So even as an investment, I think you're still doing good long term. It's just the short-term spat that's going through. It does say here the bank had come under the scrutiny of legislators after allegations that have facilitated transfers between FTX and its sister company, Alameda Research. 3 senators headed by Senator Elizabeth Warren sent a letter to Silvergate CEO Alan Lane asking for an explanation of allegations. On December 16, FTX investors filed a class action lawsuit against Lane, the bank, and Silvergate Capital over the same allegations. Of course, this is the part we talked about. This was whack to me because it's like you're going after the bank for being a bank. Like you need to go after the companies who called the bank and told them to make those transfers. Like you're going after. If anything, I like Silvergate more for this because they're not asking questions. The the people, I can't even think, the agents of these companies, the registered agents were allowed to call the bank and make transfers without the bank asking too many questions and digging. They did an amazing job to me, especially for a cryptocurrency company. Banks already know that people in crypto are getting away from banking because they're getting into our private information. So it makes perfect sense to me for Silvergate Bank to say, no, we're not doing no more digging. They said they wanted a transfer. We made a transfer. We didn't get to asking how are they able to make this transfer? Why do they own 2 companies? Yeah, we read the news too, but that's not their business. So I'm glad they were hands off on that. I don't think they should be sought after because of this, but this is where the waters get murky from when the government says, well, are they a traditional bank or is this operating as like a crypto exchange? So a lot more to happen. It's getting hot in space right now. A lot of this stuff doesn't affect short-term portfolios, more about long-term and market. But yeah, that is for the most part of the news for today. I'm looking at the last few comments. I know I went super long today. I'm happy to do so, though, to catch up. I know shout out to Trek. He had a long weekend stepping in for the military. So he was doing his duty this weekend. He said he was tired for the weekend crypto. So I want to make sure we cover a little bit more today as well. One step back to get 2 steps forward. Speaking of which, said PFC Wells, if they get through the winter with no debt, that puts them ahead of the 90% of the space when the bull market comes back. Exactly. I love that. I want to say that one more time. 1 step back to get 2 steps forward. If Silvergate, and I'm saying Silvergate, but think about your own portfolio too. If you can get through the crypto winter with no debt, that will put you ahead of 90% of the space when the bull market comes back. You'll be great, people. And yep, he also said, I think Kathy Wood's team is playing a numbers game in the market. They will more than likely buy back and get more than what they sell. I think they're going to buy back too. Like I said, if it was at 43% losses, they probably forecast like 56, 60, something like that. And they just wanted to save that extra money because if it was something they believe they were to die, they would have sold those last 4,000 shares too. They wouldn't have kept any skin in the game. But instead, they're still keeping 4,000 shares. So that says something to me as well. Let's see. Jake Fever, great point. If the government cannot hire crypto experts, we know Moody's can't afford experts in crypto to do any accurate rating. That's my point. Like, to do a crypto rating, so Moody's telling me they have a panel of experts, of crypto experts that can rate a company right now. Knock it off. Knock it off. Where were you at? Where were you at 6 months ago? Then this literally saved the entire market. Like, knock it off. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, I think that's about it for the day. As always, make sure you smash and share. I know Bitcoin Zay had the Sunday class yesterday. I'm still dealing with some things on the back end here with my grill, but I will have the class tonight, Bitcoin Mondays, 5 p.m. So be on the lookout for that. Smash a like and share, and we will see you all later with some more